Good afternoon, Quest for Thunder. We're glad you're here. If this is your first time visiting Quest for Thunder, we're refitting a 1983 Pearson 422. Her name is Thunder. And we're in the midst of a pretty major interior refit. We've done a lot of work on this boat since the day we purchased her. And we continue to work on her. So we're glad you're here. We're glad you're joining us. We encourage you to comment and help us out. If you've got ideas, if you see something that we're doing, we can do it better, a comment from you is a great help. These videos are fairly real time, and so your comments are definitely helpful, and they definitely will be applied because we are almost real time. So again, thanks for joining. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working a little bit on the nav station area, doing some work there. If you haven't subscribed to us, please consider subscribing, and just help us to grow. Share these videos with your family and friends, and don't forget to comment. And so let's get to it. We'll get below and I'll show you what we're up to today. Alright, so here we have the installed framework for the nav station enclosure, and I've got it all installed, and so the next step is to mount the door on there. The door is sitting right there, so the door will get mounted on there. And then I need to trim the door out. I'm going to do a shaker style trim similar to this door. I'm not going to have these louvers obviously in the field, but I'm going to use the same trim features around the edges of the door, so that, because it's an inset door, and so something needs to stop it, from going all the way through. So that's what we're going to do. Use that. So there it is. Now over here I've got some shims I'm working on, shimming out some wood down there. I've got some glue that's setting up, and I'm going to shim out those braces a bit so that they're even all the way across, and then I'll take a piece of this birch. I have a piece of birch here. It's back here behind the door, and I'll make a skirt that goes across that up to the butts up against this part of the nav station, so that you won't be able to see underneath there, unless you stick your head up underneath there and look. So that'll make that look a little bit better. So I'm shimming that out, preparing for that. Yep, so the next step is to get some primer on this, and then I got to figure out what paint I'm going to use. I'm going to use an oil-based paint because it's harder. I don't know what kind of sheen though. I don't know if I'm going to go with a semi-gloss, or I think probably a semi-gloss. It's a little easier to clean, and it's a harder paint. What's back behind there is basically just a flat latex, and obviously that's really difficult to clean. And if I had to rethink all this and do it again, I probably wouldn't use this latex on there. It's the same paint that we used on the bulkheads here when we took the wood off. And the reason we used flat paint is because it doesn't show the imperfections as bad as a semi-gloss or whatever, or a gloss. So I think I might go back over this. I might prime this one more time with a primer that will take a oil over it. And I think I might go back with an oil paint, but I think I might use something like a satin finish or an eggshell finish on that, so that it's not as shiny, but it'll give me a little more, a bit of a harder surface that will stay cleaner longer. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but you can see there, you get some nicks, bumps, and it gets dirty, and then it's really difficult to clean. So as I'm rethinking all of this, it's probably better to go with a harder paint. So that's what we're going to do. And then whatever that color is, we'll use it on this. It's probably going to be a white or a off-white, like it is. This is a bright white right here, but I think I'm probably going to go with an off-white. or excuse me, yeah, an off-white, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a white. Because there's a lot of wood in here, as you can see, and it's fairly dark. So, you know, we're going to paint some of this stuff. Now, obviously, this section of the settee you won't see because there's some cushions below, you know, from here down. So we're going to paint all this white, and that's white. On the side white, but everything above this line you can see, and it'll be visible. And so, yeah, it's going to be. There's a lot of wood. And that's just the nature of the beast here, I guess. So we've got to figure out what we want to do about that. Kind of want to lighten it up a little in here. Anyway, don't want to take too much of the wood out, but like back in here in the galley area, I'm thinking all of this is going to get painted white, and it's going to get a nice hard oil finish on it, so that it's bright back here, all the way back in there around that cabinet there, and then this backsplash area, we're going to put some tile on this backsplash. I'll go from the top of this counter up to underneath the this little shelf here, and all the way down to that end down there. I'm going to carry that tile all the way down. So from there all the way down. It'll look a lot better, I think. So anyway, that's the plan as it stands right now. Okay, so back to work. So nav station almost complete. Just need to do some trimming out. That part right there that you see where the frame is, this part in here, this is the door. I still have to put the hinges on down here at the bottom. I'm gonna put 3 hinges, and then the latch at the top. But yeah, that looks pretty doggone good, I think. And so the instrumentation will be mounted in the middle there, in between the slats there. Aren't going to be putting too much in here, just a VHF radio and an AIS maybe receiver or something of that nature. Possibly a small chart plotter. It's possible. I don't know yet, because I'm thinking about just having running a Wi-Fi network, and then catching the chart plotter stuff. Keep the chart plotter, the primary chart plotter, at the nav station, at the helm, and I can use an iPad or whatever down here to pick up on whatever's being transmitted. That way I don't have to have it mounted in here. But we'll see. Whatever I decide to mount in there. Maybe I'll mount nothing in there. Maybe I'll figure out another way to mount stuff, and I won't have to mount it in there, and I can just use that whole compartment back there for storage. I don't know. We'll have to just see. But it came out looking pretty doggone good. It's gonna get painted. It'll all be painted, so it's all gonna look the same. It won't be, 2 different colors like that. I put a skirt on down there to hide the mounting stuff below, and that's gonna get painted. I think we're gonna go with a nice white, hard semi-gloss eggshell white on this. But yeah, there it is. Looks pretty good, huh? Okay, we have 2 coats of primer on the frame and the skirt, and so also on this side bulkhead over here, 2 coats of primer. There's some imperfections in the wood, a few places where I filled screw holes, etc., and they still showed through. So once this primer dries, I'll go back with some fairing compound, and I need to fair the screw holes out. You can probably see them on camera here. I can. And then this section here, it's rough. It's the edge of the plywood. So I'm going to put fairing compound on that and smooth all that out and even it all out so that it's all nice and flush and smooth for when the final coat of paint goes on. I want it to be nice and smooth. And you can see over here, you can see it right there. You can see that in the middle of that frame. There's a couple of lines. There's a line going down and one going horizontally. And you can see that. And that's where I scarfed in a piece of wood And I did fill it, but evidently it shrunk a little, so I'll need to go back over it now that I've primed it with some fairing compound, fair it out, make it nice and smooth. So, yeah, so here's how this goes in here. And I'll do the same thing in there. I'll put some fairing compound on the edge of that. Fill this gap up right here so that it's one smooth surface. And then we'll be ready to rock and roll here. Sorry about that. Be ready to rock and roll. And then over here is the door that goes in that space. This has got two coats of primer on it, and it's drying. And so once the primer is dry, I'll go back on over this. There's a couple of spots I want to put some filler on this too, like in this corner right here. You can see that edge, it needs a little bit more, and I think this, maybe just that edge now. I don't know. Maybe this one down here. And then I got to flip it over, and I've got to paint the back side of it, and then I've got to paint the back side of this to seal it up. But I'm only going to put just a couple of coats of primer on the back side. I'm not going to worry about a finished coat of paint. Just prime it up good, and that'll be it. So moving right along on this, found some hinges for it. These are the hinges I'm going to be using. They're a type of face mounting hinge. So how this works is the hinge part, this part is mounted to the front so it's visible. So it'll be mounted to the front of this like that, so it's visible. It's kind of like these hinges here. Same basic idea. So you see the hinge and the barrel, the knuckle and the hinge. This one you don't really see the knuckle so much because it's kind of hidden. It's not. This is the knuckle. But you'll see that part and this part. And then this will be connected to the door over there. And these are self-closing, so that's a good thing. So once they're in the closed position, they snap shut. Sorry to do this with one hand. They're really tough. They snap shut. If I can do it. Well, hot dog, I can't seem to do it. Anyway, take my word for it. They snap shut like that. There you go. But when they're shut, they really hold the door, because the latch at the top is only going to be this little bitty latch here. And it's basically just a catch latch. Let me take that part. Hold on a second. Okay, so here we go. This is the part that's mounted up here like this. And then this is mounted on the back side of the door. And then when the door closes, this engages here like this. Like that. So it's not real strong, but it'll keep the door from wobbling and wiggling. It's really going to be the power of these hinges that'll help keep the door closed. And if necessary, I could always add a deadbolt type situation to the side or whatever. Because there will be electronics, mounted in the field here. I think. I haven't in this field. I think I'm going to mount some electronics. I don't know yet. I have not come to a conclusion on that. I mean, there's really not that many things I want to mount down here. I want to put a VHF radio down here, obviously, the base station, and then have a handset up at the helm station. So I could mount that in there. Then I really don't know what else I would mount in there. And so that would kind of look funny with just the one thing in there. So we'll have to see. Got any suggestions, let me know. But anyway, nav station's coming along quite nicely.